Good.
And
Yeah.
then on this app is also
Probably.
so it's not
Would
just
you rather have something you don't have to hold? Because you got
just
okay.
goes step by step, log in,
Good.
select my benefits, select the open enrollment. And it's going to walk you through every medical
Yeah.
benefit that there is. This time around, we cannot just do a quick select. We do need to do everybody except make sure all the family members are on there. If you have any questions, just
No.
give us a
No,
call.
just long around. So
Like I said, all
yes,
that
I
is
know. And that was
instructions,
mountain.
and it's really pretty simple. It's self-explanatory.
That's really good.
And I will turn the time over to Denise.
Good morning, and thank you for being here this morning on this very chilly morning. But we're grateful, right, for moistures because we need it. So, welcome to Open Enrollment 2023. Excited to be here. Again, my name's Denise House with GBS Benefits. Anybody new that's not been here before? Okay, so this is basically going to be a review. So because of that, and because you're all educated on all the benefits, please ask questions along the way. We're here to answer those questions for you. We'll review the benefits as we've done in the past. As a reminder, your annual open enrollment is an opportunity each year that we have to make changes, change plans, come onto the plan, come off the plan. Those are the things you can do right now. Your elections will take place January 1st. We're asking that everyone complete your enrollment by November 16th. So given the new process that you're going to undergo, please tackle that as quickly as possible. So one question is can I make changes outside of open enrollment? Yes, if you have what we call a qualified life event, which is a marriage, a divorce, birth of a baby, an adoption of a child. So make sure you do those within 30 days. Those are what we call qualified life events. That gives you an opportunity to make changes outside of open enrollment. So carrier changes, none. Great news. No increase to premium either on anything. Can I get a yay? This is awesome. This is great news. Seriously, with inflation and everything that's going on, as you know, in the economy, honestly, that's really great news. So, anyway, still offering the same benefits. We're still offering the STAR plan, the traditional plan, life insurance, the flexible spending account, the health savings account, EAP, Employee Assistance Program, being administered by Blomquist and Hale and Avati. Those are all benefits that are still being offered. As a reminder, if you participate with the wellness initiatives, there's a little discount there too, so make sure you take advantage of that. Your payroll deductions are included in your benefit guide. Your benefit guide is electronically included online, so make sure you're aware of where to seek that, and if you're needing to access it on a weekend, you'll know where it is. So it's great to have it online. So make sure you're getting involved with your doctor, talking to them. Obviously, you must all be doing and managing your plan the way you should, because again, we have no increases to premiums, so keep up the good work. But again, reminder, get involved with your care, ask questions if you need specific services with your provider. Prescription medications, definitely great technology and advances, but that also comes usually with a cost, especially those brand medications, and I know Gabby will be talking about that. But make sure you're managing that every time you fill a prescription. You'd be surprised. A medication that you thought was a cost, last time may differ, so it may change. So PEHP's got a great resource and tools and availability as far as cost online, as does GoodRx. And so I like to make sure that you're aware of that. Make sure you're doing your homework and getting the best cost, because everything that you save, ultimately the plan saving, and all of that obviously results in no increases like we're seeing this year. So we're excited about that. GoodRx is free. That app is available to you, to your family members. If you're not using it today, make sure you start using it, especially if you're on the STAR plan, because you're paying that retail cost of the prescriptions that goes towards your deductible. So you want to make sure that you're getting the best price. Okay, so I'm going to turn the time over to Gabby, and most of you probably know her as well, and she's going to review the medical with PHP.
Good morning. How's everybody this morning? Okay, let's do a quick review of your medical benefits. And you guys have one network choice here. It's called Summit Exclusive. So that means you're using what? Non-IHC providers and facilities. You're getting a heck of a good deal on provider discounts by doing it. There is no deductible change for this plan. And with this plan, it works a little bit different than the STAR plan, meaning that it has a deductible and your out-of-pocket maximum. But if you're a family, one person could meet $1,000 of that deductible and have in and out patient services paid and expensive labs and x-rays. And then also, one person on the traditional plan could meet the single amount of the out-of-pocket maximum. On these plans, I want to make sure that you guys take advantage of the in-network benefit. If you go out of network, you are required to pay more on both the STAR plan and the traditional plan. Plus, bounce billing, which is the difference between our contracted fee and the negotiated amount. So keep that in mind. I'll do a one-time example. Let's say the billed amount is $150. Our contracted fee is $80. If you go to an out-of-network provider and it's after you've met your deductible, that means that PHP pays $60 of the $100. You're responsible for $40. Plus, because you're out of network and it's a non-contracted provider, you'd have to pay that additional $50, that original billed amount. So usually it's a lot higher, so be aware of where you're at. There are no other changes with this plan, and you have the same copays, and you'll notice the deductible does not apply towards your copays. So here's the STAR plan. And on the STAR plan, you can see the deductible is a little bit higher. But what's offsetting that? You get money in a health savings account where Fox is contributing towards that, and you can too. On the deductibles, though, if you're one person on the plan, you need to meet that $1,500 individual deductible. If you're two or more, you need to meet that $6,000 family dollar deductible in network. And that's why you have money in your HSA to offset that. And Denise alluded to this earlier. Always, especially on pharmacy, take a look at the actual costs of your prescriptions, especially when you're in the deductible stage on this plan, because you're responsible to pay for it. Again, pharmacy prices change just as much as the stock market. We have different big box stores, especially up in the Logan area where we have dueling Walmarts where the price will be different. There is a form online, and we'll make it available for you guys on Box's intranet, where if you pay for a medication cash price, you don't use your PHP ID card, that's fine, but I need to know what you've done so I can apply it towards what? Your deductible and out-of-pocket maximum. Does that make sense to everybody? As long as it's a covered benefit. Just so you guys are aware, I need the original copy when you submit those. There's a lot of fraud, so I cannot accept a copy. It's got to be the copy you receive from the pharmacy. And then as you can see, you've got those same prescription copays after you've met your deductible. So really no changes on these plans. So let's take a look here. What's your network? Summit exclusive. So when you're searching online, your network is always going to pop up. It'll let you know when you're in network. If you happen to start searching out of network, it's going to go beep. You're going to know that you're not in network. It'll tell you. So always stay in network. The quickest way to search is that we have 2 buttons when you toggle under My Providers, clinics and providers. And if you can't remember how to spell your doctor's name, that's fine. Just click on his specialty, and I do about a 30 to 50 mile search radius, and they'll come up that way. If you're still wondering if they're contracted under a clinic, you can certainly give our customer service team a call. Right there, under My Benefits, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can actually print your ID card. You can print a certificate of coverage, and you can look at the benefit summary and your claims and deductibles. We calculate your deductible and out-of-pocket maximum for you, so you don't even have to do the math. How cool is that? And then again, here's your find providers and costs. When you do search a provider, about 8 of the average costs will pop up, and it will give you what our actual cost is, so you can take a look at that. Okay, have you guys used our e-visit services? I love e-visit. If you don't want to show up at the urgent care in your bunny slippers, I love this service. You guys can use both of these. Intermountain Healthcare is available 24/7, both downloadable on your phone. Intermountain Connect Care, you can use them out of state. The U of U is available as well, but you cannot use them out of state. Here are just some quick uses. And sometimes if I have sinus problems, I can call and they can prescribe for me. But the coolest thing is, if they cannot treat you, they will not charge you. Just remember, when you create this account, you have to set it up under your name, what type of insurance that you have, so they know what to bill you for your copay. Okay, pharmacy benefits are extremely expensive. PHP is still, I think, the only one, right, Denise, that has pharmacy tourism?
Yep, as far as I know.
Okay, so you and a companion will fly you to either Canada or Mexico to get an expensive medication. I will show you that list. We're even going to give you an incentive, and you get 4 of those incentives per year. This is the list of the medications. Now, I know I have some sheriffs in here, and they're looking at me like, Gabby, you can't bring prescriptions across the border. Let me tell you how it works. Our team coordinates your travel. You will get a prescription from either a physician in Canada, if you're going to Canada, or if you're going to Mexico. These are expensive medications. We're always looking to add to this list. And when I say you can save at least 70%, I'm not kidding. So if you're on any of these medications, reach out to our pharmacy team. Let's get you set up and going on a trip. Most people don't even have to spend the night, and now you don't even have to get out of your car most of the time. And don't worry, you're fully escorted the entire time. Okay, we have several discounts available with PHP. Spas, gyms, we even have pet insurance. We have the food delivery service, so check that out. And then you can always communicate with PHP through our message center. It is totally secure. So maybe we're asking you for a birth certificate or a marriage certificate. Please reach out to us through this secure service. Identity theft or theft of anything PHI related is extremely high. Okay, our fabulous Jody is here. She's going to go over all of our wellness programs with you. And if you guys have any questions, I'm just out in the hallway. Please come see me if you need anything. And of course, HR always knows how to get me. Thank you so much, and thanks again for staying with PHP again.
Thank you, Gabs. I heard her say bunny slippers out in the hall, and we had a good giggle. So I'm Jody from PHP. Some of you I've met before. I brought some fun little exercise bands. I can't really show you exactly when I'm holding the mic, but anyway, so I will, I'll have these out there, so come and grab one. They're really fun, and you can play with it too. Yeah, she'll show you. No flipping your friends in the eye. Yeah. And it could be doubled as like a headband, or for you sheriffs or anybody from fire, you can use it as a tourniquet too. Anyway, okay, so we have wonderful things for wellness. As you know, your HR department and the girls is what I call the three of them, my friends. They do a wonderful job making sure that you have lots of wellness opportunities. And so our focus this year, and we keep on just kind of rolling over since 2020, we want to still focus on mental health. And then with your diabetes, if anyone has diabetes or pre-diabetes, we want to make sure, or even maybe just a high glucose, we want to help you take care of that. And then maybe this year, starting to think like, hey, what kind of, or when I say this year, next year, what kind of healthy habits do I want to build? Because you guys have my wellness tracker. If you haven't signed up for that yet, remember you can get $150 back, you and the spouse on the plan if you have one. And then and that helps you create healthy habits too. We have our active lifestyle physical activity program that we offer, and then healthy eating. We have a 250-page healthy cookbook online, and the cool thing about that is a lot of those recipes we have tried ourselves before we had our dietitian check them out, or our dietitian has like healthified them so that they're actually good. So not only are they healthy, but they taste good too. So our new thing for 2023, and we're not sure when this is going to launch, but it'll be soon, we are doing something called Wellness on Demand. So it's going to be kind of like your Netflix style, where you can choose from a menu, and obviously no crime scenes or crime shows or things like that, but or good movies. But we're going to have you be able to choose different wellness challenges and different physical activity challenges. And our new, instead of Workout Warrior, which is funny because that's what these bands say is Workout Warrior. We had some feedback where people are saying that they think Workout Warrior just seemed a little too workoutish, or they weren't a warrior. And so we're making sure that every one of these Move More programs are a little, they're geared towards either just starting out exercising or even up to our aging population, our Medicare supplement population. So we have webinars, we have our classes, we've got health coaching, that's for age 6 and up. So if you have kids that need a health coach, and that doesn't mean they'll talk about weight or anything like that, but they will make sure that they are creating healthy habits, not just, playing video games, maybe help them get outside, things like that, where sometimes they don't listen to parents, but they'll listen to their health coach. The parents are always on the line, or someone who is an adult with them. And then we have our Take Charge class and our Diabetes in You class taught by our dietitian. And those are really good classes. And then, best of all, anytime you can make money back, we have our First Steps and our Next Steps rebate. How many of you went to a testing session this year? Oh, good. Okay. And if you didn't get to come to the testing session, remember you can still go to your doctor just for your annual physical, with no copay. So that's nice. And then if you complete that and do 3 different activities, like I talked about on the previous slide, webinar, Move More, and Wellness Challenge, then you get $50, and so does your spouse on the plan. And then Next Steps rebate is what you'll do after you get the first one, and just do 2 more activities and you'll get another $50. That one does require a form. And if you're going to go to your doctor, that requires a form. But if you just go to a testing session, you just have to go online and click a button that says that you did that. So if you haven't done it yet, remember you only have 90 days after you do your testing to get that done. And I say it's pretty simple, because you just get sent, some emails and watch a half-hour webinar. So, okay, and then the other rebates that we have that you get to get some more money for is we have our tobacco cessation. So if anyone, is maybe using chew or doing e-cigs or cigar or cigarettes or pipe or anything that you want to quit and that you've been thinking about for years of saying, you know what, maybe I could try again. It takes, quite a few tries to get it done. So you'll get your $50 back for that. And also you can participate in our quit line. So you actually get coaches and different things like that. In fact, lots of benefits that way. And the doctor just has to sign that you've been quit for 6 months. That one, the quit line, is available to you, your spouse, and dependents. The $50 rebate is just for you or your spouse. I'm still trying to get that changed over the years. Diabetes management, if you do have diabetes, then just remember any of those appointments that you're going to check your eyes, feet, cholesterol, A1C, all of that, you're going to get paid $100 back. Once you fill out the form. And then you can talk to our dietitian too, which is awesome. And then last but not least, if anyone's expecting a baby, this is also for dependents on the plan. You get to get $50 back just by watching a webinar. And please make sure you enroll in WeCare. It's an awesome program and it helps immensely. So that's all I have, unless I'm talking my wellness tracker. Yeah. Okay, hi, I'm back. All right, so I kind of forgot. I had sent her the 4 new slides, and I forgot about that. We said, no, these are just fine. So remember how I mentioned my wellness tracker, 150 back for you and 150 up to 150, depending on how many points you get. And I would love to see, if you don't mind, by raise of hand, who has the WellRight app and my wellness tracker on their phone or have used it on their desktop. Anybody? Awesome. Okay. So if you need help signing up, we would love to help you. So come out and talk to Gabby and I will get you hooked up, or talk to the HR gals, and they would love to help you as well. Because why leave money on the table when your family could have an extra $300 just by doing a few little, watching some more webinars, doing some challenges. It's pretty simple. You get reminders on your phone if you want to do it that way, or you can do it on the desktop. So now that I explained all that, this is probably in the slides. So it's a tracking tool that they pay extra for you. So just so you know, this is an added thing that Box Elder County actually pays for you. Even the URS PHP employees don't get it. So be grateful for that. I think it's awesome. I wish we did. And so it's got, some videos, the cash rewards. It will sync with any of your wearables. So if you have a smartwatch or a Fitbit or any of that, that's going to work. And then if you go to the testing session or your doctor, all of your biometric data will be uploaded into the program. So it's really nice because then it's all in one place. And like I said, on your phone, it's so nice to just be able to do these little 30-day challenges. The one thing that I love about this is that it's not all about weight or exercise or what you eat. Some of these challenges are so simple as say hello to 5 people today. So that they're kind of like positive reinforcement and positive affirmation kind of things too. So look through there because you get to choose your own challenges. If you make it to level 1, you get $50. Level 2, you get $100, and then level 3, you get $150. And you get points, and then at the end of the year, you'll get your payout. So some of these guys that raised their hand that said they're doing it, they're waiting for their $150 check, and if they have a spouse on the plan, it'll be $300. And it is just a check, so it'll be nice you can just cash it and have it ready for the new year. And then you still get your Healthy Utah rebates like we talked about too. Like I said, I'm sure there's a huge list. This is just a few of them. It'll work with your Apple Watch and your Fitbit and your Garmin and other smartwatches. And then you can also use phone apps. Like if you guys are on my my fitness app, any of those, it'll upload from your phone. So let's just say you don't have a wearable, but you always have your phone in your pocket. It'll work that way too. So it'll count your steps that way. And then you can also, if you don't want to do a phone or a desktop, you can track manually. So let's see. And then if you want to watch a video about it, we'll get that to HR and we'll make sure that you can, see all the other things that are in there. But you can get text messages, like I said, and then you just, the reminder, you can just say yes or no. You did that activity for that day. So, and you can also say, okay, I don't want any text messages, so it's not something that they make you do. The one thing that you'll need to know, and this may be something that you want to either take a picture of, or just we can make sure that Jenica and the girls have the information for you. But the site that you go to is My Wellness Jan, Jan. So it's like for January, because you guys are January renewal, and then .wellright.com. And then your little secret code to get in is My Wellness Jan. If you have any questions or you need support, the HR girls will help you, but even better, because if you don't want to bug them or you can't get with them, just go to the email mywellnessjan@php.org. So I think that is the last one for me. And back to Denise. So thanks, you guys. And make sure you come out and get a little exercise band.
Great. Thanks, Jody. She's earned the green. Like, she gave you lots of opportunities to earn some green, so make sure you take advantage of that. So health savings account is still being offered if you choose the STAR plan. Remember, the STAR plan is the qualified high deductible plan. You set money aside on a pre-tax basis, reduce your gross income, and really that is a way to earn money as well, because you're reducing your gross income. You're not paying taxes on any of the money that you put in, take out, use to pay out-of-pocket expenses. This is somewhat of a lower premium, and so I honestly am a proponent of the high deductible, because here's an illustration of the traditional plan versus the STAR plan, and ultimately you're going to send PHP, although they're great people, less money for premium, and you're setting it aside into your health savings account. Remember, the money in your health savings account is yours for life. So the money that the county puts in, you leave the county, you don't pay it back, that money is yours. So this is an illustration of the two components. Oftentimes I hear people say, I'm on a high deductible health plan, I don't have insurance. You have insurance, I promise, okay? And it works very similar to the traditional plan, although do know there's two components. There's the medical insurance, and then there's the health equity. They're the administrators of your health savings account. So this year, for 2023, they've increased the amount that we can put into the HSA quite a bit. So for this year, you can put in, or for 2023, you can put in as much as $3,850 if you're enrolling as single, and for two-party family, as much as $7,750. I left 2022 on there because there's quite a jump, so I wanted you to be aware of that. So for this next year, you can put in quite a bit more. Remember, if you're over 55, you can do an annual catch-up of $1,000 if you're over 55. Boy, I just stumbled on my words. And then also the county, as I indicated, is putting money into your HSA. So it's based on how you enroll. So if you enroll as single, it's $1,125. Two-party, as you can see, and then the family. So based on how you enroll is how the county would put money into your account, and that's 2 times a year. Okay, and remember, the money they put in is yours. You never pay that back. Okay, so how does this work? Okay, you go to the doctor, you show your ID card, they send it into PHP. PHP will adjudicate it, reduce the amount to the amount that they've negotiated with that provider, and then that's the amount you'll pay the provider. Okay, you'll receive a Visa card from Health Equity, and as long as you have money into that account, that's what you would use to pay your bill. Okay. Going to the pharmacy is very similar to how you do it today. You'll show them your PHP insurance card. They'll put it through the insurance, and then they'll tell you what that retail cost is for that medication. Keep in mind that the medication cost is your responsibility, the retail cost, until your deductible is satisfied. Okay? So be a consumer and make sure you're getting the best price possible. So, considerations. If you're thinking about going on the STAR plan, do know that your preventative services are covered at 100%. So you still can go in for your annual checkups, immunizations for the kids. That's going to be covered by PHP at 100% as long as you're using participating providers. If you're enrolling as two-party or family, I always like to highlight that you will be responsible for the family deductible. I also like to recommend or suggest that if you have ongoing prescriptions, that you go in and recognize how much the retail cost is of those medications. Oftentimes you're on the traditional plan, you're paying a copay, you don't realize what those retail costs are. Don't want you to be shocked when you go to the pharmacy and say, oh my goodness, I had no idea. So do your homework, find out what those costs are before you go on the STAR plan. Consider the premium savings and what the county is putting into your savings account. And then do know that there's no advance funding on the HSA. So if you've participated in the Flex account, you're probably aware that day one you have access to the money that you're setting aside for the year. With the HSA, you do have to have the money in the account before you spend it. So I like to make sure you're aware of that. And do know you're not able to contribute money into the HSA if you have Medicare, TRICARE, or if your spouse has you on what they call a traditional plan. So if your spouse has you double covered, that would disqualify you from putting money into the HSA. And if that affects you, come up and talk to me. Let's talk through it and see if we can manage that and kind of talk through that. Okay? Health Equity does a great job as far as administering your account. You'll get constant reminders or as far as what's being put in there. If you've had money withdrawn, they'll constantly sending you an accounting of your account. And they also have a lot of education. IRS is who sets the rules for health savings accounts. And there is a lot of information that you should be aware of. Do know that Health Equity is available to you 24/7. So if you go home and you're explaining this to your spouse and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't remember what she said, you can contact Health Equity any time of day and they answer the phone, okay? Any questions? That was kind of a review, a quick review, but I just also wanted to make sure and highlight the HSA. Okay? Turn the time over to LJ for the dental.
All right, thank you, Denise.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to be back here again. Thank you for taking your time out of your busy day to go over your dental plan. It's the same plan. Just make sure that your dentist is still contracted with Dental Select. You can go to dentalselect.com and you'll do a drop box that says Find a Provider. And we have a lot of providers, so try to stay in network because we negotiate those rates with them to give you the lower cost if there's anything that's out of pocket. So on your deductible, it's $25 and family deductible is $75. Now that deductible only applies towards your basic and major services. And your maximum, you're on what we call a max reward. So everyone starts off at $1,200. So each year you're with Dental Select, we're going to increase that. So the second year you're with Dental Select, we'll give you an additional 100, 200, 300. Eventually you're going to be capped out at 2,000. So maybe you have a good year. 1 year you're just going for your cleaning. The following year you may need that additional amount, so you can always check with our customer care and see where you're at the maximum. The other way to make sure that the treatments that you receive are covered is you can always request a predetermination from your dentist. It's a treatment plan from your dentist. It'll go to Dental Select. In return, we'll give it to your dentist. We'll let you know what's covered and then what your out-of-pocket cost is going to be. Your basic services are going to be covered at 80% after your deductible. Basic services are going to be any type of simple extraction, oral surgery, your endos, your perio, and then your major services covered at 50% by Dental Select. Those are going to be crowns, bridges, and dentures, and full implant coverage. On the full implant coverage, we have to extract the tooth while you're on our plan or you're on the policy 3 consecutive years. That's another reason that you should request a predetermination from your dentist. There's additional, there's an ortho benefit. Anyone under age 19, it's 50% up to a lifetime of $1,500, and that's for anyone on your policy. So you have 2 different benefits. You have your ortho and then you have your max reward. And anyone that's coming on that's brand new, there is a 12 months waiting period for major and 12 months for ortho, okay? And if you were on a prior coverage through a dental insurance and there is no elapse, of coverage, 30 days, you can give Dental Select a call or contact your HR. And if it's a similar policy, we're going to take a look at it and we're going to see if we can waive those waiting periods, however long that you're on your other policy. Okay? Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Carly Dane. I'm with Opticare Vision Services. We are the vision insurance, and nothing has changed at all this year. So I'm going to go through the benefit pretty quickly. One thing to keep in mind, Opticare does not cover your eye exam. You should definitely continue to go and get one every single year. We just don't cover it on this plan. That was just a way to cut back and save on premiums. Now you do have an exam covered through PEHP. So you'll want to make sure the optician or ophthalmologist that you're going to is a contracted provider for PEHP. And you also want to make sure that they're going to bill that service as preventative. If you have a diagnosis with that exam or they're looking in your eye to fix a problem, that is not considered a preventative eye exam, and there could be cost associated with that. One more option for the exam before I get into the plan benefits. We have a new feature this year. It's our online prescription renewal service. So this works just like any other telehealth service. You are taking an eye exam from a mobile device or your desktop, and that will be reviewed by an ophthalmologist within 24 hours. If they are able to renew your prescription, you'll be charged the $25 copay. If you indicated any medical related challenges that you're having, if you say you have headaches every single day, most likely they're going to kick you out of this system and recommend an in-person exam. If you get kicked out of the system, you're not charged the $25. Only if they're actually able to dispense a new prescription to you. So this is an awesome feature for people who just need new contacts. They can't get into the doctors. You can renew it online, $25. All right, now getting into the Opticare benefit. I have some plan outlines out there. There's also a detailed version printed in your benefit guide, your benefit booklet. What you see on the screen is kind of a summary. So the plan name is called 120cc. It gives you 3 options on how to use the benefit. The first option would be to go to the select network provider, which is Standard Optical. Unfortunately, there is no Standard Optical in Brigham City. There's one up in Logan and 2 in Ogden. At Standard Optical, you have a $120 allowance to use towards the frames or the contact lenses. They are in lieu of each other. So you can either use that money towards frames or towards contacts, but not both. If you choose to use the $120 towards frames, there's additional coverage on the lenses. For example, the standard plastic lens with scratch and UV protection is 100% covered. Where you will spend money out of pocket is on the lens options and coatings. So I call them the bells and whistles of your glasses. There are so many different lens options and coatings. There's the blue light blockers nowadays, tints, polishes, anti-reflective coating. All of those are going to be a 25% discount from the provider's retail price. Now, your second option for using the benefit is to go to one of our broad network providers. When you are searching on our website, if they're not Standard Optical, they're a broad network provider. So as far as chains go, VisionWorks, America's Best, Eyeglass World, iMart Express, all of those are considered to be broad network. And the benefits do change, but just by a little bit. It's $10 here and there is how much it changes. So your frame and contact allowance is $110, but don't let that discourage you. So we are insuring a retail product, and we don't have any control over the retail prices. Standard Optical is a local Utah company, so they do tend to have higher retail prices than somebody like America's Best, who has nationwide buying power, therefore a lower retail price. So $110 could end up taking you just as far as the $120 does at Standard Optical. And then you'll also have a $10 copay for your lenses as well if you choose to get glasses in the broad network. Now, the best thing about the Opticare plan is it does give you the option to go wherever you want for service. That includes the out-of-network column. This is the last option for using your benefit. The caveat with out-of-network is you do pay in full and then submit to us for reimbursement. We will reimburse $135 towards glasses, so that's $65 on frames, $70 on lenses, or $90 towards your contacts. And I just have one more quick thing to mention, and I'll see if you guys have any questions. So you heard me mention at the beginning of my spill that the contact benefit is in lieu of your frame and lens benefit. So if you or anybody in your family are the type of people who wear both contacts and glasses, you could do the every other year thing where you get contacts this year, glasses next year, and keep alternating. But what I recommend doing is using your allowed amount, so the 120, use that towards your contacts, because there's an additional purchase discount of 50% off a complete pair of glasses. So once you exhaust your benefit, no matter what it's on, you get 50% off a complete pair of glasses all year long. There's no cap on that discount. That's what I would recommend doing if you need both. If you use the 120 on your frame, there's not an additional purchase discount on contacts. There actually is, but it's like 10%. So not much. Any questions? Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Carly Dean. So, as a review, flexible spending is still offered if you choose to stay on the traditional plan, which is great. This is another account that you can set money aside on a pre-tax basis for your out-of-pocket expenses. Do know that you do need to spend money in the account, so you'll want to make sure that you're diligent as far as what you can use. On the healthcare FSA, this is an amount that you can set aside, which is $2,850 for your co-pays, for any of your out-of-pocket expenses. Should you choose to go on to the STAR plan and have the HSA, we also offer the limited FSA, which allows you to set aside an additional $2,850. Why would you use that? Because you can, for the HSA, spend your money on dental and vision. The good example for that is if, let's say, you have a child that has orthodontia, and you know that that's an expense you're going to incur next year, that's a way to set an additional amount aside on a pre-tax basis. So that's what I would suggest. But generally, you would just use your HSA for all of your expenses, so you're not managing two accounts. Hope that makes sense. Dependent care reimbursement is if you have a child under the age of 13 that is going to daycare. That's an opportunity for you to set as much as $5,000 aside. So that's a considerable savings as far as taxes. So make sure you take advantage of that. Flexible spending is administered by MBS. They do a great job. Make sure if you're participating this year with FSA, you do know that you have 75 days to use your money this year so that you don't lose it. So make sure you look at your account balance and spend it down before you do lose that. Oftentimes, I like to make sure and highlight for you that MBS may question a dental claim, so make sure you respond to it and fulfill whatever they're looking for. They administer your claims, and so they're responsible to our ARS to make sure that they're paying the claims that are actually allowed to go through flex spending. So make sure you don't ignore those responses. I certainly don't want you to have your debit card pended because you've not responded to an inquiry from them. Life insurance is still offered by Hartford. Okay, the county has $25,000 in place for you should you pass away, for fully insured employees, or full-time employees, I should say. Should you pass due to an accidental injury, it is double, so it's a $50,000 benefit. And then your spouse is covered for $10,000 and your children $2,000. Okay. You also have an opportunity to choose additional life insurance. So if you feel like that's not adequate coverage, that's what we call voluntary life insurance. That is subject to evidence of insurability. So you've got a really generous amount that you can get yourself insured for, which is $600,000. You can see for your spouse, they also can get an amount of $250,000 and children $10,000. Again, that's evidence of insurability would need to be completed and you'd need to be accepted. Did I ask if there's any new hires here now, right now? Everybody's been here before. Okay. Okay, we're still offering the Employee Assistance Program that's being administered by both Blomquist and Hale and Navati. It's confidential services, and we've seen really an upswing in where people need support, especially coming out of the pandemic. And so do know that this service is available to you. It's free, it's confidential, and they're available to you 24/7. So make sure, if necessary, you contact them. Navati is also a great service as far as completing and supporting you in every aspect of your body. So, social, body, everything that we are dealing with. Finances, of course, are a big thing. But they too are there to to be supportive and support you during a stressful time. And again, this is no cost to you. So make sure you're taking advantage of that. Okay, a couple of reminders. There's some cashback opportunities through PEHP. We've talked about a lot of ways for you to earn green, so make sure you take advantage of that. Update your beneficiaries if you've had a life change, a divorce, something's happened during the year that you want to change your beneficiary. Here's your reminder. And with your health savings account, if you have that in place today, same thing. Make sure that you update your beneficiaries. Should you pass, that money goes to your beneficiary. So we want to make sure that that's as current as it should be, okay? Again, a reminder, complete your enrollment by November 16th, okay? You'll get new ID cards from PHP this year, so that's why we've really got to get your enrollment in so that they can get those ID cards out to you timely, okay? And those will have a new ID number, so be diligent to provide that to your providers and to your pharmacy, okay, after the first of the year. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to turn the time over to Daryl.
Thank you very much. My name is Daryl. I'm with Transamerica. Transamerica is your supplemental insurance provider, so we're providing accident, critical illness, cancer, hospital indemnity, and short-term disability programs. These are voluntary programs, meaning they'll come out of your paycheck, but the county does not contribute anything to them. These plans have been around for a while. Many of you probably in this room have had these plans before, and if you are on them, you'll remember that you get $150 from the accident, the cancer, and the critical illness plans for doing your biometric screenings at your health fair. County does those claims on your behalf, so if you've got a check in your mailbox from Transamerica and wondered why you got it, that's why. Now, if you hadn't participated in the wellness fair and you haven't claimed your $150 wellness benefit, or if you haven't claimed any claim for that matter from your wellness benefits or from your either accident policy, critical illness policy, or et cetera, you can still go back and file those claims. And I brought a really handy one-page, well, I guess it's two-page, back to front, step-by-step guide on how to file your Transamerica claims. Sometimes it's as simple as picking up the phone and calling them and saying, hey, I had a doctor's appointment. I need you to send me my $150. Super simple. For more complex claims that needs like documentation from doctor's offices, there's really 5 ways you can submit that. The worst is probably by mail. The easiest and fastest is definitely by an online portal. So all the information you need to file claims is right here. Now, if you've never been enrolled in the Transamerica supplemental programs, or maybe this is you're new to the county, let me give you a quick refresher. These plans pay you a cash benefit for getting hurt or sick. In the accident plan, if anybody have any kids in here that like to say, hey, Dad, watch me do this? Or, okay, how about a spouse that says, hey, hon, hold my beer? Yeah, and I got a few more chuckles. Okay, I know how this crowd rolls. This is great. So if I get hurt and I have to seek treatment for that injury, I get paid depending on how bad it hurts. A minimum of a couple $100 for something as simple as some stitches. to thousands of dollars if it requires surgery or physical therapy or extra additional care. For example, I tore my meniscus skiing this last winter. Had to have surgery, MRI, PT, all that jazz. And I got a check for almost $3,000 for my surgery and for all the rehab that I had to go through. Now, the one plan that I do want to talk about that I don't really talk about a whole lot in these meetings is the short-term disability program. The short-term disability program covers 60% of your wages if you can't come to work due to either an accident or an illness. Now, if I have the accident plan and I have the short-term disability plan, both plans would pay in an accidental injury situation. But I was reading statistics this morning, and in our working career, 41% of Americans will be out on disability for some reason. It could be either an accident or due to a sickness. So oftentimes I'm asked the question, do I need short-term disability insurance? And the answer I would give is, it depends. If you're the kind of person that has enough in their bank account, like an emergency fund of at least 3 months worth of savings, so you could cover your mortgage, your rent, your utilities, your truck payment, putting food on the table, and every other additional expenditure, then you might not need short-term disability. But for most Americans, if they get a surprise bill of over $400, that's a difficult bill to pay. And so if you are worried about what might happen if you fall into a situation where you can't come to work, then short-term disability might be a really good plan for you. And it's only a couple bucks per paycheck. We can break down the math to show you how much exactly it's going to be, depending on how much you make. Like I said, it covers 60% of your wages. And if that's something that could benefit or protect you and your family, let's have a conversation. Yeah, that's it for me. I'll be in the hallway available to answer any specific questions. And if you've got any questions on how to file your claims from the past, let me know. I'll love to help you out.
I'm not sure I need a microphone. Can y'all hear me okay? Or should I use a microphone?
No, you do need to because they're recording us.
Oh, okay. My name is Mark Udy. I'm going to talk pretty fast. They say the average person can understand somewhere close to 500 words a minute. I can't talk that fast, but I'm going to get close. I've been with Legal Shield now about 17 years, and prior to that I was a cop down in American Forks. I didn't write any of y'all a ticket. I'm pretty sure none of you drove that far. But the truth is, when I found Legal Shield, when I got close to retirement, I found this company. I got behind what they stand for and what they do for folks. As most everybody knows, on the West Side Supreme Court building, in great big letters, it says equal justice under law. The problem is, I think there should be a caption underneath that says, as long as you can afford it, right? Because we get about as much justice as we can pay for it. You know, the average cost of an attorney in the United States today is $301 per hour. Now, most folks don't even make $300 a day. So we're kind of priced out of the justice system, right? Well, this company actually levels that playing field and gives everybody access. One of the few things I've ever found that actually provides more value than cost. When I get to the end, that'll make more sense. I'd like to explain one other thing before I get into how that works, and it's about identity theft. Y'all are familiar with the term identity theft. Legal Shield's been around for over 50 years. ID Shield's been around for over 20 years. We were the pioneers in identity theft protection. In fact, we're ranked #1 in the industry and have for years. We're the only company that has licensed investigators. We're the only company that fixes your identity for you. Most people still think identity theft is a financial problem, which is bank accounts and credit cards. And the truth is, your financial identity is less than 20%. It's the easiest one to catch and the easiest one to fix. And for the most part, it's actually insured. Like, you know, your bank accounts and credit cards are all insured up to $200,000 per account, right? So if somebody was to take money out of your account, as long as you dispute it within 60 days, they have to give you the money back. It's the other 4 areas that you really need to be concerned with. You also have a Social Security identity. I always kind of ask it. We all know our Social Security number is not supposed to be an identification number, but in order to have a job in America today, you got to have one. So I always ask, how many illegal aliens you figure are working in this county? Now, every one of those folks who have a job had to have a Social Security number. My question is anybody using yours? How do you check that? What report does that show up on? If you've tried to call the Social Security Administration in the last 3 years, you'll get the same recording we all do. Due to COVID, we are short-staffed. Try your call again later. But you're responsible for that. If anybody uses your Social Security number, gets a job, and gets paid, the IRS is coming after you for taxes on that money. And how do you prove you didn't get the money? If somebody uses your Social Security benefits, starts claiming disabilities or injuries, if that money is spent, they won't give it back to you. You are now responsible for the use or misuse of your Social Security, and you have no access to even check on it. Most people find out about these things after the fact. Then you also have driver's license, fake IDs. Fake IDs, I can open bank accounts, get utilities turned on, get a traffic ticket. I mean, anything can happen with a fake ID. In the end, you have to prove you're not the person who got the traffic ticket, right? Character criminal identity theft, not hard to figure out people committing crimes in other folks' names. The statistics show about 70% of this is family members. Somebody gets caught shoplifting, they give them your name, your date of birth, your address. Now, none of you have any outstanding warrants, as far as you know, and you'd know here, because obviously you work for the county. But the truth is if that warrant is issued, when the warrants division is knocking at your door saying, hey, we have warrants, what are you going to tell them? See, there's the problem with it, is you have to prove it's not you in identity theft. And medical identity theft is the fastest, is the scariest form. And it's not your medical information they want, it's your insurance information that they want. People get procedures done, things happen, people go in. And we all know how the medical works. If I want to see my doctor, I've got to have my medical insurance card and I've got to have some form of ID. But emergency rooms don't work that way. I can go to any emergency room within 100 miles of here. I can claim I'm any one of the guys in the room, and they have to treat me as though I'm you. I don't have to have proof of ID. I don't have to have anything. I just have to know a few things. I probably need to know your name. I probably need to know your address, and I need to know you work for this county. That's it. And they cannot refuse me service. So if I've got a broken arm, that gets expensive. What if I have something more serious going on, like HIV or hepatitis, diabetes, or one of those things? There's a couple stories that kind of hit home with this big time. Because people tell me I got bad credit, I don't care, but your identity has less to do with your credit than you think. It was a traffic accident just outside of Chicago. It's been a few years back. The guy was unconscious. Medical people picked him up, hauled him to the hospital. Hospital pulled his medical file. Now, you all know you have a medical history, right? Everybody in here knows you have a medical record. In that record, it indicated he had some kind of disease, illness, or condition. In an attempt to treat the unconscious man, they gave him the wrong medication, and he died on the spot. So I always ask, how important are your credit scores at this point? And none of that has anything to do with your credit. The fastest growing segment is child identity theft, and it's just because nobody checks a kid's ID until they're 16 or 18 years old. You give an identity thief 16 to 18 years of a kid's life, think about how much damage can be done. The statistics on that still show about 70% of that is family members as well. Somewhere between 35 and 50% of the 70% are parents and grandparents doing to their children and grandchildren, as crazy as that seems. So there's identity theft. And the reason I explain that is because it's so important to understand it's not your credit. Your bank will monitor your credit to a certain degree. Most credit cards are now monitoring your credit, and they'll even give you a credit score. It's the other 4 areas you need to be concerned with. To make all this as simple, we have an app that makes this really easy. We monitor all those things. Everything that I mentioned, name, date of birth, social security number, driver's license, social security, debit and credit cards, and emails, your social media, everything about you we monitor. If something happens, we're going to send you an alert. It's a little alert, almost looks like a little thing, like you got a text on your phone, but it's an alert in the app. And it'll show right up on your phone. If it's you, obviously no big deal. Delete the alert and move forward. But if it's not you, there's a button on there, 24/7, 365. You can have a licensed investigator on the phone within minutes that will help you start solving that problem. In other words, they'll do the work for you. Give you an idea how quick these guys are. Somebody used my social security number in Michigan a number of years ago. I called them within 48 hours, they had it fixed. And we learned later that it wasn't a malicious attack. It was somebody who had a typo but got my social security number on there. And again, we're monitoring. We're the only company that monitors all of those things. We're the only company that can fix those for you. Now, according to the Federal Trade Commission, somewhere between 65 and 80% of the time somebody has an identity theft problem, they have a legal problem. Obviously, if you get a traffic ticket and there's a warrant out for your arrest, that's not just an identity theft problem. That's a legal problem, of course. But other things, maybe the IRS says you owe $1 million in taxes. That's a legal problem, not just an identity theft problem. But, so we handle all the legal side of everything that you do as well. But we don't stop with just that. First thing we do beyond that is we give you unlimited consultation. In other words, you can call and talk to the law firm, any question, any subject matter, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And all of our law firms are in the top 10% nationwide. And you're covered anywhere in the country. Like my little issue in Michigan. Had it not been resolved that easy, I still don't have the ability to jump on a flight, go to Michigan, and start writing affidavits and appear in court. But I have a law firm that would go to court on my behalf there. So we don't stop with just those things. We add everything else to it. Unlimited consultations. They'll write letters and make phone calls on your behalf. They'll review contracts and documents. So before you sign something, just like wealthy people do, have your attorney look at it. If you're going to decide you want to try to do something or you're not sure that's legal, you can call the law firm. It's unlimited. I got overcharged $28 on my cell phone for a horoscope service. I didn't sign up for it. They said I did. I called the AT&T. They said, pay your bill, we'll turn off your phone. Called the law firm. The law firm said, I don't know, you can prove that you did sign up for it or whatever. And he said, let me make a phone call. We talked to 2 people. Here was the great part. It was probably about 5 minutes to 5, same day. I received a phone call back from the vice president of sales and marketing for AT&T. He started off with, "Mr. Udi, I am so sorry. I just got off the phone with your attorney. I already credited your account the $28, and because you need to engage your attorney, we're going to give you 200 free minutes of data." That's back when we all paid for data. Nobody pays for data anymore. I think it's the whole package, right? But this is the kind of results. But how many times we take those $5, $10, $15, $100 problems, we know it ain't right, but we pay it anyway because it's cheaper to be ripped off than it is to fight for our rights. This is unlimited. I have a good friend in Highland who actually had him write a letter for $1.50 issue on his internet service. Now, nobody's going to call an attorney for $1.50, but he did, and they wrote a letter for him, and he got his $1.50 back because it's free. I mean, it's not free. It's part of your membership. We also do mortgage contracts and documents. So if you're buying or refinancing a home, they'll go through all those things. I refinanced my house a few years ago, went through all the documents, had the mortgage company take a look at everything, or send me everything. I sent it over to the law firm to have the real estate attorney go over it. He sent it back and circled 3 different paragraphs, said strike from contract. They were fees that they can legally put in there, but I didn't actually have to pay them if I didn't want to. I could dispute them. Send them back over to the mortgage company, and the first thing is, "Oh yeah, no problem, we can take those out." It was $4,000 worth of fees. Now, I don't know about you, but $4,000 is a lot of money to me. Interest on $4,000 for the next 20 years is a lot more money to me. So you think about that. How many times have you signed those things thinking, it's okay? You ever bought a car, you just signed to go with the agreement. Most of those have a dealer prep fee that you don't have to pay, but they don't tell you that. So again, all those things, but people never do that because attorneys are $300 an hour. If I stopped there, you could probably get $20 worth of value out of this every month. But we also do things that represent you if you get a traffic ticket anywhere in the country. You're probably not likely to get one here in the county, but you can get one anywhere. Family members can get them. We don't fix tickets, and I want to make very clear. It's not a good license to speed or get out of jail free card, but we do help you with the tickets. They're very good at keeping points off your driver and fines reduced. And it's really about the points rather than the fines, right? We don't, and when I told you this thing provides more value than cost, here's what I meant by that. We know statistically speaking, about 80% of Americans don't have a will or current will in place. And the biggest reason people don't is it's about $1,000 a person to get one done. If you're married, that's a couple $1,000 on average. Well, that's a mortgage payment or two. The end of the month, we're going to pay our mortgage, or we're going to, get our wills done. And as the young man just a few minutes ago mentioned, the average family cannot handle a $400 bill at any given month without having some major financial issues. Well, it's $1,000. So we're going to do it for free. And a will's not so much about your stuff, although we hear families divided over grandma's china, dad's will, watch. We want to make sure those things are taken care of. A will's about things like, are you going to be left on life support? Who gets to make decisions on your behalf? Heaven forbid something should happen and you can't speak for yourself. And if you have children, where do they go? If you don't have a will that specifies those things, in many cases, a court will decide. You may remember the lady down in Florida, Terry Shriver, brainstem, body alive, no higher brain function. Her husband said, pull the plug, let her pass. Her parents said, there's a chance she'll recover. They argued in court for 15 years. Millions of dollars later, a judge said, pull the plug, and she shortly there passed. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want my wife fighting with my kids, my grandkids, or my parents over whether or not I should be left on life support. So, for example, my will says if 2 doctors agree, I do kind of want that second opinion. Pull the plug. Let me go. Don't leave me like that. Heaven forbid you're in a horrible accident. Can't speak for yourself. Doctor comes out of the emergency room, says, hey, it's going to cost $500,000, and it's going to take 10 hours of surgery, and there's really only a 30% chance you'll survive. In some cases, your insurance company can step in and say, we ain't paying for that. Now, I don't know about you, but those are not the folks I want making decisions on my behalf. So in my case, my wife has what's called durable medical power of attorney, which means she gets to decide whether or not I get life-saving surgery or whatever, which really means I'm probably not going to make it. She gets $500,000 in the house paid off. So, I mean, I can't blame her. But again, we want to make sure that those things are in place. Heaven forbid something happens to me and my wife, my oldest daughter gets to decide. It's just not up in the wind. And please understand this. If you have children and you don't have a will, the state will take custody of your children. 99.9% of the time, they take custody of your children. A caseworker sitting in some office is going to decide who gets to raise your kids. The worst story I'm aware of, and I know I'm probably sharing more stories than I should, but it's important for people to understand this. Down in, just outside of Phoenix, lady had a child living in her home. Her sister and her husband moved in with her with their 2 children. The parents, the 2 parents were killed in a traffic accident. Now, the state instantly came in and took custody of the children because they now become wards of the state. The lady said, hey, listen, they're my niece and my nephew. They've been living in my home. I want to raise them. I want to take care of them. They said, that's a great idea. Here's what we need you to do. We need you to go get foster care certified, and we'll do the background. And if everything goes good, we'll bring them right back. They did all the work. She looked good on paper. She was a great mom, was more than capable of doing it. But the state looked at her finances and said, you don't quite make enough money to support 3 children. So our decision is we're going to give you one of the child, the other one's going to stay in foster care until you can afford to do something different with that. Worst scenario, right? So again, had she had a will that said, had the parents had a will that said, my kids would stay here, that's where we would have stayed. But people don't think about that. People tell me all the time, my kids are most important. But yet we leave it to chance. And we all know our date of birth, but we don't know the other end. I promise you, people got up this morning and nobody planned on dying in a traffic accident in this country. But I promise you already somebody has, and they didn't plan on it. But you got to get your will done. You got to get it done before, right? Not after. You can't get it after. So again, more value than cost. We also do things like represent you if you get sued civilly. We also represent you, give you 50 hours of a tax attorney if the IRS decides to audit you. Supposedly they're going to hire 87,000 new agents. And they're only going after the rich, right? At least that's what they told. But the truth is 87,000 agents, I promise they're going to go after everybody. And they really haven't audited very many people in the last few years because of COVID, but they're going to start big time real soon. Tax attorneys on average are $500 an hour, on average. We're going to give you 50 hours. We'll cover last year's taxes and forward. Anything I haven't talked about, bankruptcies, DUIs, rob a liquor store, beat up your neighbor, we'll help you with those things, but not for free, at a 25% discount. Our whole plan, defend you, protect you, doesn't give us license to go do bad things. And here's the last thing we do for you on our legal plan is we give you 24/7 access. Everybody in here knows your rights. Everybody knows you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can't hold you against your right. As a police officer, everybody I ever talked to knew they had the right to remain silent. Here's what I also discovered. Very few people have the ability to remain silent. And if they've had a couple beers, it goes to 0 every time. So we want to make sure that you have access 24/7, 365. And it's simple things. Maybe a simple traffic accident. I rolled up on an auto pedestrian accident right before I retired. Guy in a car hit a guy on a bike. Nobody's hurt. I pull up behind the guy in the car, flip on my overheads. The guy who was driving the car walked straight back to my patrol car, all wide-eyed and as nervous could be, looked me straight in the eye and said, listen, I hit that guy, then I drove around the block to run over him again. I said, excuse me? His eyes got bigger, realized what he just said. He goes, no. I hit the guy, but I couldn't stop safely, so I drove around the block to run over to him to make sure he was okay. Well, that made a whole lot more sense than what he actually said, but he was frazzled, nervous. Cops just showed up, right? Had he talked to an attorney, what would the attorney have told him to say? Nothing. Now, when I was a cop, we took notes, we asked questions. Today, everything's video and auto recorded. Can you imagine that testimony on a big screen in the courtroom? Kind of scary when we realize how many simple things we can say that can and will be used against us later. Even though it wasn't his intent, it could still be used against him. So that's our legal plan. So all this together, you can see on the purple paper, just to put it in perspective for you, if you're a single person, no spouse, no children, we'll do the identity theft for $12.95. With the legal plan for $18.95 combined together, it's $31.90. The family plan covers 2 adults, so you, spouse, significant other, domestic partner, and up to, well, all your children up to the age of 26. And for legal, and up to the age of 18 on the identity theft, we do all that for $38.90. The reason those numbers are significant, and I'll make this really simple, anybody can get this plan. But because we set it up with the county, the normal family or individual plan is $49.90. You guys get it at $32. The family plan is $64.90. You guys get it at $39. So we want to make sure everybody's covered with everything. I'll be out here, answer questions, give you some more details if you'd like. I appreciate it. My time's done.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Hey, that was a lot of information, but good information, right? Any questions while we're still together? Okay, all the carrier representatives are outside. I'm here to answer questions. Thanks for taking time out of your day, and good to see you. Thanks.